Thank you for coming to my little tropical farm. We moved to this small farm in Panama from Los Angeles. We're setting up a homestead that'll include a garden, a food forest, and animals. Please join us on our journey. We are testing the sun oven today. I've used it before. I've had some luck. I've also had a few disasters. But Sean is making bagel bites in the house, and we have no water again. We're waiting for the plumber. So I decided, instead of heating up the kitchen, not that that really has a lot to do with the water, but it does, I would test the sun oven. So if you look at the sun oven, you could see that it's barely at 350. It's a little overcast right now, so that's not helping. But we are going to put this in the sun oven. And like I said, he's making it inside, so I just took 3 of the bagel bites, and we are going to test them out here. So I'm making sure my holes are aligned. This one looks pretty well lined up. And this one looks like I can drop the sun oven a little bit to get it lined up better. So let's put you down, and I will do that. As the sun gets higher in the sky, you need to adjust. So that now is right on track. This one is right on track, so we're good. The oven went down a little bit. I actually think I don't have it quite as tight as I could, but we'll just test it as it is. So I brought you guys into the pump house to show you what problems we're having with the water right now. This is the pump that gives the water pressure. It's also the filter, gives us water pressure into the house. And it is leaking from here. We have turned it off. Not only turned the pump switch off, but we've also turned the water off. Instead of standing in the pump room, I thought I'd sit outside and try and explain that. So the pump is leaking. We have turned off the water to the pump as well as the switch so that the pump doesn't go on with no water going to it. We can turn it on, so it's not like we really don't have water, but we're trying to turn it on like twice a day and not leave it on all day so it's going off and on and off and on and off and on, because every time it goes on, it shakes a little, and it's just going to be leaking worse and worse. Ignacio and Ephraim were here today, as you'll see in the video. They looked at it. He wrote down what he needs. He's going to give me an estimate once he goes to the store and prices everything out. And they also, I have a blockage in one of the main pipes leaving the house, not with sewage, but with the gray water. And they dug that up, and they looked inside, and it is full of roots. So he said best thing is to replace it, but he also, because half of it's under concrete, he is going to unhook it and put in new piping. He's going to have to dig up a little of the concrete, but not as much. It's roots. Roots? Yeah.
Have
to change it. So that's where we're at now. They'll be back later on in the week. So we've got a few days of dealing with this water problem after fixing the other water problems. Martin did come by and fix the float on the water tank, which is right up there, and recapped the pipe that Sean ran into with the weed eater. And so that is fixed. So like I said, we have water, but we don't have a good working system yet. Hopefully that'll get fixed shortly. We don't usually leave our gate open, but today our gate was open and all the calves came to visit. oranges. Aren't they looking lovely? These are, I believe, a tropical orange that, I don't know what they're called, but they're supposed to be quite tart. And they're supposed to be very good juicing oranges. But you do need to add sugar to the juice, I believe. A little bit of a garden tour this week to show you some of the newer stuff. My garden over there is not doing so well, but we're gonna leave that. Maybe we'll go check it out a little later. But as you can see, this was a citrus tree that has died. So we planted another lemon tree right next to it. Once that lemon tree really gets going, I'll have to cut down this other tree. Here's another citrus tree that isn't doing so well, but that isn't really what I brought the camera out to show you today. We burnt some stuff this week, some of it not all on purpose. I don't know if you can see, I'm sure you can, rows and rows of corn is growing super well. And I'm trying to look down below the corn as we walk through the rows of corn. Mario today replanted a lot of the cassava. As you can see, there's cassava roots laying there. That's what he dug up and he replanted. Some of it is growing. This is a cassava plant, and some of it is not growing. I'm not sure what is growing on the leaves, but I'm thinking that is some sort of bug or fungus. I'll have to ask Mario about that. But yeah, some of it is definitely growing. We can see a few of them here. And then what I really brought this out between the rows of corn. Let's walk back here. We did plant some more additional trees back here. That is the guava that we planted previously. I'm not sure what this stake is for, but it must mean something. Here is the other guava that had died, but it looks like it's coming back a little bit. This is another papaya we just planted. There's the other papaya. But that is not what I came out here to show you. My sugar cane is doing great. It's not a lot of sugar cane. But what I really came out here to show you were the pineapples I planted. In an earlier video, we were in the kitchen and I actually took 2 pineapple tops, and the third pineapple top I cut in quarters and planted that. And this is one of the quarters, and as you can see, this is the original, and here is the new shoot growing off of it. So the quarter pineapple did work. I have growth on all of my pineapples. This was a whole pineapple that we planted, and it is growing out of the inside. Looks like there are ants. This is another quarter pineapple, and here's the new growth. Here's another quarter pineapple, and there's new growth right here on the side. And then these are 2 pineapples that Mario brought. He said they're better for this property. They don't look like they're growing much, but they were planted later and they're doing fine. And this one, I didn't see the new growth until I looked way over on the side there. There's some new growth. So the pineapples are doing great. I had actually thought they weren't going to make it, but they're fine. I'm trying to think what else there is to show you out here. We can actually walk out to the citrus orchard, and I will show you that. If you could see over there is the sugar cane, and the area I was just showing you where all the corn is. And over here in the pasture, we have a bunch of different trees, but a few of them are citrus trees. At least so I think. That one definitely looks like a citrus. These 2 do as well. And then you can see up ahead is the chicken area. And then behind the chicken area is what I call the orchard. And I will show you what we planted in there. This is where a few videos ago we found that cow hanging out, and we walked them all the way back. But this is behind the chicken area, so it's really the, I don't want to say it's the furthest corner because our pasture is on the other side, but it is kind of the furthest corner. And if you can see, this is a lime tree. Not super healthy, but the limes are growing great. Not sure what this is. Doesn't look like a citrus tree, but I could be wrong. I'm sorry about the shaky footage. I'm watching the ground because I'm a little afraid of snakes. Nobody goes back here that often. So, not sure what this tree is. Doesn't have any fruits on it of any kind. At some point, I'll probably have to come back here with Mario. He can identify them. This is a brand new mango tree that we just planted. It was the most open area in here. So, so we planted the mango here. This is a noni tree. I have a few of those, and it's not a fruit I think I'm going to be eating much of. Considered very medicinal, good for you, supposedly fights everything, but I'm not positive. Let's see, I planted 2 new cacao trees in the shade. Again, I'm not thrilled about walking through these high grasses by myself, but it is what it is. So that's the noni tree I just was at. Not sure what this is. It kind of looks like cassava, but not really. Here's another lime tree or citrus tree of some kind. This one looks like it's doing really well. Maybe we'll take this inside and see what it is. It's not ready, but that's how I found out the other one was definitely a lime tree. Oh, way in here are my 2 cacao trees. Or bushes, I'm not sure. I guess they're trees. Here's one, and there's the other one. These do well in the shade, so they were planted under the shade, and hopefully they will do well. There's a big tree right next to it, and again, I don't know what this tree is either. It's got big leaves, but not as big as a teak tree, so I don't think it's teak. But this is what I call the orchard. We'll make it more of an orchard, and then straight ahead you can see the chicken area. I decided to come to the garden and just check it out. Like I said, it's not doing as well as everything else. Every time I've planted in this weed barrier, everything's pretty much died. My watermelon's doing great, and as you can see, I have a little watermelon here, and I'm gonna hope that that was actually germinated. Not germinated, that's not the right word. Pollinated. Sorry about that, because I have a ton of male flowers and very few females, so I might not get too many. These are 2 of my bean plants that are just getting eaten up. Everywhere I put them, they get eaten, so I'm about to give up on them. And I've got the same issue over here. I think I showed you. I've got ginger that's growing really well. A few right here on the corner, a few right here. They're getting eaten, but not so badly. That over there, that little clump is mustard greens, but I'm actually hoping to get the seeds and make some mustard. This is the culantro that I replanted. In a previous video, I stated that they have deep taproots and they don't replant well, but I did replant them, and these 3 survived. Here's another one that's growing, coming back. Very slowly, but it's coming back. Once these seeds have dried, we'll save some and we'll plant more so that we have more up here growing. And then we'll take you to the last spot, which isn't doing so hot. My loofah, which looks so great, got just attacked by those giant cricket-like things. I think they actually call them langostas or here, because they're just huge and they've got red legs. But yeah, it's not doing really well. And then here is my cucumber. Sorry about that. And I do have a bug on my cucumber that I'm just gonna try and get him to leave. I got a ton of flowers. It had even more this morning. They seem to have gotten eaten. But again, they seem to be all male flowers, so I don't know if I'll end up with any cucumbers, but we'll wait and see. And just while I'm showing things off, across the way, a bunch of cattle are hanging out. Luckily, Bonnie hasn't seen them yet, because she'd be barking at them if she had. And that's what we've got going on today. Well, we didn't have a surprise for you this week, but more to come. We will have more animals on the farm soon, hopefully very soon, but we still have a little more work to do before we get there. We did deal with the water issues as explained in the video this week, and hopefully you'll join us next week. If you'd like to follow along, please make sure to subscribe and hit notify so you're notified when our next video comes out. See you next week. Bye.